Hello everyone and welcome. This is video 4 in the HR mini-series. So this is on how to source credible employment law updates. So if you haven't watched the first 3 videos, definitely go and watch those because you need that foundation knowledge in order to understand this video. So in this session today, I'm going to be running through how to find reliable, up-to-date employment law information, including exactly where to go on each website and what to click on. Because it's not just about knowing the sources, it's also about knowing how to actually use them. I'll put any links to any websites or sources that I discuss in the description of this video. Okay, so number 1, where new laws start. So before something actually becomes law, you will usually hear about it as a proposal, typically in the news. You might see it on social media more likely now, maybe in HR forums. But it is important that you don't rely on news sources for accuracy. It is a prompt for you to go and research further as a professional. So here's what you do. You go to the UK Parliament website. Just as an aside, this is a really great place to get employment law and other Parliament news. Okay, so if you go on there, the first page that you will see is lots of Parliament news. Interesting if you're very sad like me. So something's just been announced, a government proposal, they're planning to change things. In the search bar, you're going to type UK Parliament bills. Okay, so typically what happens is a bill will be proposed and then starts the parliamentary process, and you will see it on the UK Parliament website. So on here, you're going to click Bills Before Parliament, and that will give you a list of bills. Or you can use the search bar for the name of the bill. For example, you can type in the Employment Rights Bill if you know what it is. And we're not going to see the Employment Rights Bill come up because this is March 2026 when I'm recording this. And it's already become an act of law, so it's no longer a bill. But let's just click on any bill. So we've got the Employment Rights Bill here. This is separate. I know the same name, but this is separate. And you can click Details and that'll give you a description of it. What stage is that in Parliament? I've covered the stages of Parliament in earlier videos in this series. If you haven't watched them, you should definitely go back and watch to understand this. And on Details, you will see the current stages and what's left in the process before it becomes law. Okay, so when you're on the bills page, you will see tabs or sections such as Overview, which is a summary of the bill, Stages, where it is in the process, Publications, which is full documents and amendments. But we're going to have a look at the Stages tab. So this tells you, like I said, how far along the bill is and where in the process that it is. For example, first reading, which is the early stages, committee stage, whether it's at the House of Lords. So typically employment law bills tend to start at the House of Commons and then it swaps over to the House of Lords. So we can see that this bill is at second reading stage and the date is to be announced. So it's still going through the processes at Parliament at this time when I'm recording. So when bills are going through Parliament, during the different readings and processes, there will be debates and discussions on the different parts of the bill. Now, if we go into the Publications tab, we will see at the bottom Commons first reading. So we know this started in the Commons, as they typically do, like I said, with employment bills. And a first reading will typically record that the bill was introduced, it give it a short title, and then it's past that stage. Further in the process, there will be more detail, and the summaries published on these are often referred to as Hansard scripts. And you can view these transcripts after it's been debated, or you can watch live on parliamentary TV if you're, again, sad like me. So let's find a better example with more detail. So I've typed in Employment Rights Act Hansard into the search bar, and it'll bring up the last sitting on the 18th of December 2025, and you will see the Lord's Hansard, and in this example it shows that royal assent was given on that date, so that has now become an act of law. Let me show you a better example. Let's go back to when the Employment Rights Act was at report stage in the process, and I'll show you quickly what type of information is shared in those type of scripts. Here we go. I'll put it on the screen so you can have a little look. But basically, there's a lot of information there. It's verbatim transcript of what was discussed and recorded. It all looks very confusing and it's mainly boring for employment law enthusiasts like me who like to follow to that level of detail. But if you want to have a look, that's there. Another good place to search on Parliament is What's On. And if you search Google UK Parliament What's On, that'll show you what's being discussed and dealt with at Parliament, either today, in the past, or what's coming up. Okay, so before a bill becomes an act of law, all the information will be on Parliament and probably working its way around news sources. When it becomes an act of law and it's had royal assent, it's published to legislation.gov.uk. But even when it's published on legislation.gov.uk, it doesn't mean it's in force necessarily. As we discussed in previous videos, acts can become law, but that doesn't mean they're in effect. They may come into effect, or certain parts may come into effect at later dates, as we're seeing with the phased approach of the Employment Rights Act. So let's go to legislation.gov.uk. I'm just going to call that the legislation website for ease going forward.